Hello, my name is David Clarkson and I'm the minister at Barclay Viewforth Church. Over the past few days, I've seen the same phrase a couple of times. It's a phrase that comes from the Bible, and I'm going to share with you the section that it comes from. At the start of the book of Exodus, Moses is called by God to go to Egypt to rescue the Israelites from slavery and to deal with Pharaoh, the Egyptian ruler. He didn't want to go. So he did what most of us do when we are faced with something that we don't want to do. He made excuses. I'm not good enough. Who am I that I should go? What will I tell them your name is? I don't know who you are. What if they don't listen? Oh, I'm really not a good communicator. I don't know the right words to say. And finally, he got to the heart of the matter when he said, please send somebody else. I don't know if you've ever felt like that. I know I have. But the answer that God gave was effectively, I'm God and I'll be with you. But partway through that discussion that they had, something odd happens. In Exodus chapter 4, verses 1 to 5, we read this. Moses asked the Lord, suppose everyone refuses to listen to my message and no one believes that you really appeared to me. The Lord answered, what's that in your hand? A walking stick, Moses replied. Throw it down, the Lord commanded. So Moses threw the stick on the ground. It immediately turned into a snake and Moses jumped back. Pick it up by the tail, the Lord told him. And when Moses did this, the snake turned back into a stick. Do this, the Lord said, and the Israelites will believe that you have seen me, the God who was worshipped by their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Well, I think you can probably imagine Moses' expression when God asked him what he was holding. It's a stick. There was nothing special about it. It was just a walking stick. But later in the story, we see that that stick is used to part the sea so that the Israelites could escape over dry ground. At Mount Sinai, it's used to bring water from a rock. And during the battle with the Amalekites, as long as Moses held it up, the Israelites would win the battle. And when he let it come down, because he was tired, they began to lose. So he had friends to help him hold it up. It was just a stick, but it was a God-anointed stick. Exodus chapter 4, verse 17, we read this. Now, says God, take this walking stick and use it to perform miracles. And as we've seen, Moses did exactly that. That made me wonder, what do I have in my hands? I don't own a walking stick. For large parts of my days during lockdown, it's been a laptop or a phone that I've been holding. How can I use them to do God's work? Well, this video is clearly one way of me doing that. But are there other things? Am I holding things in my hand that I consider just ordinary, of limited use, of limited value, but God is calling me to use them? What is my equivalent of just a stick? However, it wasn't just Moses who was involved in all of this. God had promised Moses that someone would be there to support him in the task that he had been given. And that included, I think, seeing the value of a stick. Aaron was sent to be with Moses. Imagine the conversations they must have had over the time they were together and before they got to Pharaoh. Moses saying, so I took this stick and I threw it on the ground and it became a snake. And then when I picked it up, it was just a stick. How many times has he told the story to all sorts of people? And you can imagine Aaron rolling his eyes and giving it, will you stop with the stick story? And then in Exodus 7 verses 8 and 9, the Lord says, Moses, when the king asks you and Aaron to perform a miracle, command Aaron to throw his walking stick down in front of the king, and it will turn into a snake. Would it be easier for Aaron to obey God in the light of the experience that Moses had shared? Well, I think so. When we share the things that God has done for us with other people, it can make their journey just a little bit easier, because they've seen that God can do it before. And if God can do it before, God can do it again. Aaron still had to obey. He still had to throw his own stick down in front of Pharaoh. And when he did that, it became a shared experience between him and Moses and God. And so for you and I to think about today, what do you have in your hand? What apparently ordinary thing is God calling you to use today? Who are you supporting and learning from? Hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining us.